Hi, my name is Aimless, and I wanted to go live and do a quick guided meditation. Um, I didn't tell anybody about this, so this is going to go live and no one's going to join, and that's fine. Somebody can pick it up later. But yeah, we'll see if this ends up being a format I might continue in the future. But starting off, guided meditation. So the meditation that I do is more mindfully based, but it all starts with how you sitting, right? Most of us are sitting in a chair. In the future, I might try different positions in this live stream format, but for the most part, I want something where you can pop the video on and you can find your own way to get into the meditative state. We're going to do a quick 10-minute meditation because I find that 10 minutes is one of those things that keyboard warriors like myself, people who work a desk job or just sit in a chair for a very long time, no matter what you're doing. A lot of us are doing that. 10 minutes is the minimum that you could take in order to kind of clear your head and just reset and get grounded. So let's start off. First thing you want to do is get comfortable. You want to be able to sit in your chair and be comfortable with sitting for 10 minutes in a relaxed state. So, some of the things that I like to do because we're sitting in this chair all the time is do some stretching. So, don't fall out of your chair, be careful, but we want to work on our hip flexors right now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pivot to the side and we're going to sit with kind of like our haunches straddling the side of the chair. So we're facing sideways in the chair. I'm just going to kick this leg back. And I want this whole part of me to arch, especially right there in the hip flexor. And you want this to go in that direction. And so you can kind of use the rotation of the chair, kind of push back, and then try and get this to make an entire bow. Do a few of those. Doesn't take much unless you're super tight. Let's switch sides. Remember, don't fall out of that chair. Be careful. So here we go. Remember, you want this hip to point in that direction. You're trying to shove it in that direction. We can use the rotation of the chair to kind of hit that. You can also lean back in order to get that big arch, get that stretch through the side right there. All of us hold tension in different places. But right now, that was all about the hip flexors. So let's see. Another thing that we can do is right off the bat is get a little bit on the edge of your seat, cross your legs, pull this over, and you don't even have to lean over. Sometimes you can just push this down a little bit, very gently. You're pushing it in that direction, and you're just kind of loosening those hips up a little bit more. And then, if you like to hold it down, you can lean forward a little bit. A little rocking action. All right. I should have put a timer on for this. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes on my timer. And so we're going to do the other leg. And so just from the front, I'm pushing down on the knee right there. Trying to keep a good upright posture. I have a problem with my posture quite often. I end up finding myself bowing over. So I always remind myself to pick it, to pick up my spine, to straighten up my spine, to pick up my spine. Wouldn't that be great if somebody could just pick you up and then make your spine straight all the time? But no, we have to do it ourselves. So gentle reminder. So push that down, give it a little lean forward. All right. All right, so hips are one of those things that bothers me when I'm sitting for a 10-minute sit. Another thing is my shoulders. And so I just have a simple pole here. I think I got this at Ace Hardware. And it's really simple. What you want to do is we're going to work on our shoulders really quick. So I want you to hold it up like this, but then I want you to let it fall back and go right behind your elbow right here. And then you're going to grab it below here, and you're going to rotate. Oh, that's good stuff right there. So we kind of we don't want our arm to come out in front. We want it to come to the side. So, but if you can't get that far back, That's okay. But the idea is think of yourself like one of those action figures that just has like the articulating arm, and you're doing this very gently, and you're using pain as a little signal to go to the point where there's good pain and there's bad pain. You want to get to that point where it's like, ooh, you feel the pain, but it's the right kind of pain, if you know what I mean. All right, so we go to the other arm, rotate out, grab over here. Now, one of the cool things about this is if you grab lower, you can push it up and get different amounts of rotation. I like to hit it about right there, where it's almost parallel to the floor. My shoulder is just in front. It's not completely out to the side. Just right there. That's where it's comfortable for me right now. That's where that stretch is hitting. Okay. Do some shoulder rolls. And then some gentle side to sides with the head. Got a few more minutes. Next time this intro, I want this video to be to the point where you can, on a dime, just fast forward to the part where we're meditating. Okay, so to be practical, there's a lot of times when I just have my watch. I also have a silent timer, but for right now, I'm not going to use the silent timer. I'm actually just going to, oh yeah, the silent timer that makes noise. Whatever. So I'm going to get onto my watch here, and I'm going to get ready for 10 minutes. But really quick, before we get into it, the goal here is to be aware of one's self. When I'm guiding meditations, I am very much about self-awareness. This is about your ability to feel your own body and observe your own thoughts. So a lot of times when we're going through these meditations, it's difficult to keep your head clear. And sometimes if you're like me, those thoughts will come in, and next thing you know, you're up in that little simulation that's just inside your head, and you're off in your thoughts. And maybe this was a memory. Maybe this is something that like you're doing conflict rehearsal. We'll talk about that. But we want to get to the point where we're observing those thoughts and being mindful of them. Once we're done meditating, we're going to do a little bit of journaling. So there'll be some more talking there. But what I want you to do is think about being relaxed, feet flat on the floor. If you've got some way to lock your chair so that it's not leaning back, or if leaning back is comfortable for you, you just got to find your sit. I like to sit upright. My chair locks so I can just kind of lean back against it and stay in a good posture. And you can hold your hands wherever you want, but what we're going to do is observe our inner body. And what I mean by that is try to be mindful. So some people talk about body scans. We may do that at some point in time, but right now, I want you to try and be aware of your entire inner body all at once. You can visualize this as your bones, your muscles, and your organs, or you can just visualize it as some space that's filled with whatever you want. Some people like to imagine it filled with light when they close their eyes. Everything from the skin in. And some people like to imagine that this inner body actually extends outward from our flesh and is just an orb or an aura around us. Your visualization is your choice. Mine shifts, but again, this is what I refer to as the inner body. And I want you to focus on your inner body. And let's get into it, shall we? All right, hopefully you're nice and comfortable. Let me get this timer set up. And 10 minutes. Let's start with some big breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Like a wave. Slowly filling the stomach. This is the mode that we want to get into. Low and slow, that is the tempo, like my friend Andy says. Bring your attention inward. If you focus on nothing else, focus on your breath and become increasingly aware of your inner body, the sensations of your skin, the way your feet feel on the floor, the way that the chair feels on the bottom of your thighs, your back. Keep that low and slow. Fill your belly with every breath through your nose. Every once in a while, check in on your posture. Make sure that you're sitting upright, that you're not clenching the back of your neck. You're not looking up. Nice and balanced. Head should be relaxed on the top of your spine, which is upright but not uptight. Again, thank you, Andy. Try to listen to everything around you, but don't think about what you're hearing. Just let it be. If you hear a noise, you can give it a simple label like "here" to acknowledge the fact that you heard something. Otherwise, detach from it. This is the moment where, for me, the sacred struggle begins. Sacred struggle is the struggle with self. The battle that you have within. Try to keep searching for that relaxed state. Make sure your face is relaxed. You have to flex it, open it. Do so, then come back to relaxed. Keep your neck loose and your trapezius, your traps, the back of your neck. Make sure it's unclenched. Unclench your jaws, try to relax. Keep that breath going. Be aware of your thoughts. Do your best to let them go. Be aware of your feelings. You might get annoyed at some sounds that are in your environment. Be aware of the annoyance and let it be. Don't fight it. Breathing. Keep seeking relaxation. Keep going. You're doing great. Keep your awareness on your body. Remember, you can always return to your breath. Your focus starts to wander. You can concentrate on the sensation of the air as it enters your nostrils. Or you can try and feel your breath as it flows across your lips when you exhale. Try to be aware of where your attention is flittering to. If you have trouble keeping it in one place, follow it. Observe it. What is it paying attention to? Become the silent observer of your own thoughts, of your own attention, of your own focus. Gently try to remind your focus to stay in one place, but if it floats from place to place, let it. Don't fight it. Goal is to be still and silent. This is the essence of the sacred struggle. We are never quite silent inside, are we? Practice, we merely increase the silence, but it is never total. Try to make your breath like a wave. Fill your stomach and then let it naturally crash out in one natural flow of exhalation. Never-ending cycle. 10 minutes does not take long. Now, what were you thinking about? Because this is really about awareness. And when you try to be silent and you start focusing within, you start finding what I call that which resists. This is a phrase that I'm going to use quite a lot. I'll repeat it often. That which resists. So when the goal is to be silent and still, That which resists is anything that keeps us from that goal. What were you thinking about? So, this is the moment where I will open up and write some stuff down in my journal. So, it can be about anything. When I'm doing these meditations, when I'm doing it by myself, when I'm not guiding, because when I'm guiding, I'm thinking about guiding and I'm thinking about teaching. So I'm probably going to write some of that down right now. But if you're watching this, I want you to think about what you were going through while you were meditating and then write those things down. If meditation is one of those things that, if meditation is a tool that you want to get better at, the journal is one of the best ways that you're going to quickly accelerate how effective meditation becomes. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to build a new momentum. We're trying to forge a new path. And that path comes from the sacred struggle. If you are sitting for 10 minutes and you can't keep your mind from racing from thought to thought, because sometimes this happens to the best of us. The trick is to keep working on this and to keep doing it. And in time, it'll get easier and easier until suddenly you are just able to control your thoughts, to control those racing thoughts. I have PTSD, and I've used meditation to help me get control of that fight, flight, or freeze mechanism. The freeze one is tricky. I'll talk about that one another time, but that emotional uprising that happens when you get triggered, when some kind of sensory event, or sometimes maybe somebody's provoking you and you get triggered into that fight or flight mechanism. um, Meditation has helped me to get non-reactive, to get to the point where I can almost immediately recognize when I get into that state, because of this self-awareness, because of the sacred struggle of meditation. It's like I've said this before, it's like building a momentum. The more you do this, it's like a muscle. You practice this, and it's a state of mind, a state of consciousness. Just the simple act of awareness. It's like a muscle that you can increase. And the sacred struggle helps us increase our awareness. And with increasing awareness, as you become more aware of yourself, you will naturally become more aware of the world around you. So this is one of the other reasons why I tell people meditation is one of the best ways that you're going to make your life more tolerable. Because sometimes, let's face it, life is an emotional thing, isn't it? And so the journal helps us to capture those things that we observe when we're going through that sacred struggle, when we're trying to locate that which resists. So I want you to sit down for a few minutes and just open your journal up after you've meditated and write down that which resists. I like to date my entries. July. Started my first live stream meditation. Sometimes you can use a journal prompt, and you can write down phrases like, "What is that which resists?" And I put that in quotes. Or you can write down, "What was resisting me?" Sometimes just writing down that sentence, sometimes just writing down that sentence is everything that you need just to get started. Um, it can be sometimes getting started is simply the most difficult thing that you can do. So writing down a journal prompt is a really great way just to get your pen moving. And some people they have no problems just getting into the flow of writing, but me sometimes I get stuck. So there you go. There's some journal prompts for you right there. So I mean, one of the things that I'm making a note of is the fact that that light behind me is probably not the best location for a live stream. I don't like the way that it makes me look. I think the light would be better from the other side, don't you? Anyway, all right. Well, that's all I have for today. Actually, let me write that part down about the light. The idea with this format is sometimes people need an excuse to do journaling. And this is one of those things where, or for me, I have filled journals after I've meditated. um, After I've done some simple session. Like I like to do for like 25 minutes at a time, but sometimes 10 minutes is all you need. And so if that's just enough to get you started, if 5 minutes is all you can do, set a timer for 5 minutes and sit in stillness and become increasingly aware of yourself. Become aware of everything, your mind, your body, and your spirit. They're all connected. I mean, yeah, let's not get too far into that. I hope that you found this useful if you're watching this at all. I really don't expect to. I'm doing this more for myself. But at any rate, I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time.